Hey there, folks. Andre the Game Idea Guy here. And yeah, this is a easy subject to talk about, easy to understand, easy to give the perspective that makes the most logical sense on. But I noticed that there are people on the internet all over having freakouts and losing their minds over this. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it real quick and inject some logic, inject some reasoning. And I'm sorry, it's raining out, so you're going to hear drainage of water constantly. Can't help that particular thing. But people are getting upset that there is a Switch 2 out there in the wild over a week before the console launches, which probably shouldn't have happened in the first place. But there is a retail unit out there in the wild, maybe several more. We don't know for sure, but we do know one thing that is completely confirmed. You cannot play a single thing or set that console up until launch day. You can't do anything with that retail unit until launch day. And people are upset about this. Now, over the last few years, over this generation for Nintendo, over ninth generation for Nintendo, which that's what the Switch falls into, over ninth generation for Nintendo, I have talked constantly about there being consequences to the actions of people who pirate, who steal, who modify, and do so with disregard to the company that owns the product. I've said this multiple times over that there will be consequences for those specific actions. So Nintendo is now requiring a day one patch for launch units, as far as we know, for Nintendo Switch 2. So if you get one early, you can't activate it before launch day. This probably also plays into why Nintendo didn't give any gaming press or media launch day units, because they had already decided upon this, and it would have been pointless to give them launch day units, because they wouldn't have been able to use them anyway. And Nintendo's not going to trust them with, the active units that they got. So yeah, I kind of get it now. I get it more now. Could have also been Nintendo still being petty towards them, because they could have given them units and then deactivated the necessary need for them to wait to get the launch patch to download. But that's a whole other thing. But this does bring into question an interesting thought for me. Now, if someone happens to find a way to clone the Switch 2's OS and get it up and running on PC like was done with the Switch, does this now mean that new games will not launch without a patch before day one of launch day for games? Because that could be a way to help stop leaks from getting out. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that dislike it, but when you've had constant leaks and information getting out and stuff that you didn't want to get out, or people playing pre-updated versions of games and then complaining about them, and those things being the representation of the games for people before they get them, of course you kind of look at that and be like, yeah, you know what, this is a security feature we got to throw in. Now, I don't like it. Trust me, I don't like it, because this is a form of DRM where you're holding back someone from being able to interact with and play their stuff. So I'm not a fan of it, but I do get it. Because if you can prevent someone from taking something pre-launch, you're going to do that. That's better for you overall. That means that there are people who may genuinely be interested in something and they'll pick it up. And they won't be deterred by everybody else's opinion, even if they know that their tastes differ. So it's one of those things. I'm pretty sure that this is just going to be launch units, which will probably be the ones within the first 3 to 6 months of the console's life, because there are software revisions on a regular basis, especially with OS updates and stuff like that. So it could easily be that. It could very easily be that. And I think everybody having their freakouts right now are freaking out way too soon. Give yourself some time first. Let things, Let things play out. Let's see where they go first before we assume the worst. If the worst happens, go gung ho. Get your pitchforks and torches and axes ready. But until we know for sure exactly what's happening, at this point, it's moot. Because you don't know how things are going to play out. I don't know how things are going to play out. I could predict a few things, maybe even be right on some of them, but I don't know for sure. But knowing that launch day, everybody gets the same treatment on launch day, actually, that makes me happy. That should make a lot of other people happy. That means your experience cannot be tainted by someone else. Unless you let people taint you with speculation. If you let people taint you with speculation, that's a whole different beast, and I'm not getting in on that particular argument. I'm not arguing into the wind on that one. But right now, the way things are, it's probably better that, launch day units or launch units that are out there aren't being played early. Even though that would be a heck of a story for someone. Hey, I gotta switch too early and I'm online playing Mario Kart World right now. I can't wait for all of y'all to get in and join. I know that would get a lot of views. I know that would get a ton of views. But Nintendo probably knows that too, which is why they're holding off on a bunch of stuff. And I'm very certain we're about to see a bunch of launch day trailers drop on June 5th. We're going to see a bunch of launch trailers drop on June 5th. Again, let things play out. Let's see where they go. I get that people are upset, and I get that there's worry that means that you won't be able to utilize the console ever if stuff goes down. Trust me, I understand that. And I am not knocking that concern. But I'm also saying that OS updates and stuff happen for units going out after launch. Not every console was the same at launch as it is at even the year end. Heck, by the time, what was it? Xbox 360 is the perfect example because you had the blades at first, and then they completely switched everything up when they created avatars. And you had a whole different OS setup. And I had one that had the blades and then updated to the other setup. And I know that most of the 360s after that never had the blades at launch. You had the other setups initially. So that's likely going to be the case, where you don't need the internet to set it up after launch. Launch, I think, is specifically so that there's not leaked information or people showing off things too early, or gaming press trying to get stuff ahead of time and trying to be sneaky. So either way, I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think that this is going to be just for launch window, maybe through the first year. I could be wrong beyond that, though. I don't think it's going to be a thing. My guess is 3 to 6 months in, because there's bound to be a couple quick small OS updates anyway, because they don't know how everything's going to go for launch. So there's definitely going to be some updates that happen within that short period of time. I am thinking that that's also going to mean that, certain games don't allow you to launch them before launch date, which would just be a system update anyway. And once the system updates, it'll allow you to launch those games after that particular date. Again, I could be wrong. I'm just thinking this through logically. This is what makes sense to me. And if I was in their position, I'd probably handle things in a similar manner, especially when you've had a lot of leaked information, a lot of people getting games, stealing games before launch date, spoiling the experience for so many others. I can kind of see why they would do it. But I'm not going to linger on this one too long. I think this was definitely a short subject. It wasn't worth a long, drawn-out explanation. And I do apologize for it even being this long, because I wasn't planning on it being this long. So thank you guys very much for listening again. Keep your eyes and ears up for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games and peace out, everybody.